When we first moved into the house, I thought we had finally caught a break. It wasn't perfect. The paint was peeling. The roof needed work, but it was ours. And for the price we got it, we couldn't say no. There was just one part I didn't like: the basement. It was huge, damp, and colder than the rest of the house. The realtor said it was just bad ventilation, but something about it made my skin crawl. We decided to use it only for storage. For the first week, everything was fine. But then, one night, I woke up to a sound I'll never forget. It was laughter, a child's laughter, and it was coming from the basement. The next morning, I told myself it had to be a dream. We didn't have kids. None of our neighbors had kids that young. It didn't make sense. But that night, it happened again. The same giggle, high-pitched, playful, echoing up from beneath the floorboards. I finally worked up the courage to check. I crept down the basement steps, flashlight in hand. The air felt damp and heavy, and every step groaned under my weight. The light swept across the floor, and that's when I saw them. Footprints, small, bare, leading across the dust-covered concrete. They stopped in the middle of the room, as if the child had vanished into thin air. I backed away, heart pounding. There was no way anyone could have gotten in. All the windows were sealed. The door had been locked. But someone or something had been down there. Over the next few days, the laughter didn't stop. Sometimes it was faint, like it was drifting through the walls. Other times it was so close I swore it was right outside my bedroom door. And then came the whispers, a soft, sing-song voice calling from the dark. Play with me. One evening, we found something on the stairs leading to the basement. A ball, old, faded, with cracks in the rubber. We didn't own it. The next night, it was a doll. One eye missing, hair matted with dust. We tried to throw the toys away, but somehow they kept coming back. I'd leave them outside in the trash bin, and in the morning, they'd be sitting neatly at the top of the basement steps. It was like the house itself wanted us to keep them. I couldn't take it anymore. One afternoon, I decided to search the basement from top to bottom. At first, it was just the same damp concrete and cobwebs. But then, behind an old shelf pushed up against the wall, I found something I hadn't noticed before. A door, small, wooden, barely taller than my waist. Its handle was rusted, and it looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. With shaking hands, I pulled it open. Inside was a tiny room, more like a crawl space. The air was thick, heavy, and smelled of mildew. And in the center of the room sat a crib. The mattress was rotting, springs poking through the fabric. Beside it lay a pile of dusty toys, stuffed animals, blocks, a cracked rattle. And carved into the wall, over and over, were the words, "Play with me." That night, the laughter changed. It wasn't playful anymore. It was sharp, piercing, almost like screaming. We woke to the sound of running footsteps across the floor above us. Quick, frantic, like a child racing from room to room. But when we checked, the house was empty. The toys we had thrown out earlier were back, this time placed neatly beside our bed. The cracked ball, the one-eyed doll, the rattle, And then, just before dawn, I saw it. At the end of the hallway, standing in the shadows, was the figure of a small child, its head tilted, its arms hanging limply at its sides. I blinked and it was gone, but the sound of its laughter echoed long after. We couldn't take it anymore. That night, we packed our things and tried to leave, but the house had other plans. When we reached the front door, the lock jammed. No matter how hard we pulled, it wouldn't budge. The lights flickered, then went out completely, leaving us in pitch black. And that's when it started, the laughter. Not just from the basement this time, from every room. It was layered, echoing, dozens of voices all at once. The air grew freezing cold. Our breath hung in the dark. Something ran past me, brushing my arm, small, fast, like a child darting by. I shined my flashlight at the mirror by the hallway, and there it was, a little boy, pale, sunken eyes, smiling wide, standing right beside us in the reflection. But when I turned, no one was there. We called the police the next morning. 2 officers searched the house from top to bottom, even checked the basement. When they came back up, one of them shook his head. There's nothing down there, no footprints, no toys, just dust. But I knew what we heard, what we saw. Within a week, we moved out. We didn't care about losing money. We just wanted to feel safe again. For a while, everything seemed normal. A new house, a new street, fresh paint on the walls. But on our very first night, as we unpacked boxes in the living room, I froze. From somewhere in the house, faint but unmistakable, I heard it, that same sound, the giggle of a child.